Hey everybody, welcome back to Bobby Builds It. Today we're going to be comparing some homemade wood filler. I've got sawdust from the miter saw and the sander, from some SPF and some cedar. We're going to see how those compare to what you can get at the store. Here are our test pieces. It's the cedar, the SPF, and I've got a section for the dust that came from the sander, from the store, and the saw and the dust that came out of the miter saw. And I've got just the hole from a twist bit, then my number 8 countersink, and then I did sort of a counter bore. It's not exactly what a counter bore is, but it sort of gets us there. Here I made a cross section of what the different holes look like. This is the twist bit. I used a larger bit than I did on these just to make sure you could see. And this is the countersink where there's just enough ridge there for the screw head to go into, and this is, you know, the counter bore where it goes down further. The screw head will go all the way down, so you can put a plug or however you want to clean that up if you don't want to use wood filler like this. Here are our piles of sawdust. This is the SPF from the miter saw. The same with the cedar. And there's what came out of the sander for the cedar. And then the SPF, and you can see a pretty significant difference in the size and texture. And to mix it up, you just add a little bit of wood glue at a time and then stir it around until it's a nice paste. The dust from the saw was pretty hard to mix up, and I had to work quicker than I expected to get it spread out. So I went ahead and did that. Let's see if this goes any smoother. This time I'm going to start with a really small pile of sawdust just to see if it goes any better. And now here's the stuff that you can get at the store. To try to be consistent, I'm going to spread it just like I did the others with the stir with this one of these craft sticks and my finger. Probably got way too much. Have all the holes filled in. You can see the sawdust here. It was just, I don't know if it's going to turn out very well with the size of the particles and everything. If the color comes out good, then maybe, but it was hard to mix up, hard to spread. Here is the dust out of the sander. Did a lot better. You can see how dark that came out compared to the miter saw dust. It's not as drastic here. And using the smaller pile of dust to start with and working from there, that made this a lot easier to use. Then here's the store-bought stuff. It spread a whole lot easier than anything else. If I had it to do over again, where I was doing it on an actual project, I would skip the craft sticks and just use a putty knife to spread it around. Now we're going to let it dry and sand it and see how it all turns out. Here are our results. This top line was sawdust from the sander, and I sanded one, cleaned the dust and everything out of the bag, and sanded the other one. That way the color was as true as I could get it. And with just the twist bit hole, I'm not even sure if it shows up on camera, and if I had to feel a little bit better, that worked out really well. And here is just the countersink hole, and then the little bit deeper sort of the counter bore. And I mean, they look okay. So here is the store-bought filler with the same holes. Again, I'm not sure how well that one even shows up. And these are a pretty good match. This line is with sawdust from my miter saw, and it looks pretty bad. It's too dark. The particles are too large. I wanted to try this out to see how it took stain. We'll get to that here in a second. And here is the cedar, the sander dust. Twist bit is right here. It filled in really, really well. Here's the countersink, and I think that could have spread better. There's a little bit of problem, but I do think it could have handled it. And then here's the deeper hole. And that looks pretty good. Of course, store-bought doesn't match at all. It was easy to spread and filled in pretty good, but definitely would not use that on cedar because I don't see ever even wanting to stain it anyway. But here's the miter saw line, and shockingly it came out lighter than the other wood, even though it was just the cedar shavings. So again, that's probably not something I would try going forward. Now we're all stained up. I just let it dry a few minutes. The small hole with the sander dust, that looks fantastic. But to my surprise, the other two are terrible. They hardly took any stain at all. Then our line of the store-bought, and the small hole looks okay. Over here, it looks like it took way more stain than you would actually want. And then with the miter sawdust, probably changing my mind a little bit on that. I think I like the way these look better. It sort of kind of looks like really round knots. So tell me what you think. Thank you for spending a little time with me today. If you're surprised how anything turned out, let me know down in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a good one.